Welcome to another video. Let's take a look at Arkham City and just how corrupt this place is. Just how damaging are the decisions in the Dark Knight. Let's find out. At number 19 we have the Joker. This is where the Joker creates a situation where there's two boats rigged with explosives. On one boat you have civilians and on the other boat you have criminals. And each boat has a detonator, so if one boat pressed the detonator, the other boat would explode. Unfortunately for the Joker, neither boat presses the detonator, and this allows the Batman to capture the Joker. This wasn't too much of an L for the Joker because he did have a spare detonator, but he didn't have the chance to use it. At number 18 we have Maroni. This is where Batman is giving Maroni the shakedown and trying to find out where the Joker is. Obviously, Maroni has no idea where the Joker is, so Batman drops him from a great height and breaks his legs, which is surprising because I thought the whole thing with Batman is that he didn't kill people. Now, he doesn't kill Maroni, but he seriously injures him, and it makes you wonder what the Batman code actually is. At number 17, we have Jim Gordon. This is where Jim and the police get to Gotham National Bank way too late, and all the money is already gone, which I have no idea how Jim and the police get to this place so late, because this place was robbed ages ago, and now they're 10 steps behind the Joker, and they have no leads. At number 16, we have Batman. This is where Batman chases after the Joker and Harvey Dent, and this whole situation confuses the Joker. He thinks that he's chasing after Batman, but the real Batman is chasing after him. So he grabs out a rocket launcher and destroys the Batmobile. This is a bit of a shame because the Batmobile is one of the most important and expensive vehicles in Arkham City. At number 15 we have Jim Gordon. This is when Jim gets shot while protecting the mayor. And luckily for Jim, he was wearing a vest. But the real mistake here is that Jim and the police were already several steps behind the Joker. So they had no real solid plan for him. And when you don't know your enemy, you don't know what they're gonna do. And they nearly paid the price. Now, Jim nor the mayor were killed, but things could have been a lot worse. At number 14, we have the bank manager. This is where the bank manager is on the floor yelling at the Joker as he leaves. So the Joker grabs a grenade, attaches a string to it, puts it in the manager's mouth, and drives away. Before this, the manager was playing hero, and he takes out two criminals, and then gets shot himself. It's at that point that he should have played dead and waited for the criminals to leave, because he has nothing to gain from the situation. All he's doing is putting himself and others around him at risk. And luckily for him, all the Joker does is put a smoke grenade in his mouth. At number 13, we have Harvey Dent. This is where Harvey Dent kidnaps Jim Gordon's family and holds him hostage. Now, I'm not quite sure why Harvey holds content for Jim Gordon's family. We know that when both Rachel and Harvey were kidnapped, only Harvey was saved. And obviously, Harvey would be upset about this. But he seems to be personally mad at Jim, as if somehow this was all his fault. And later on, we do find out that some cops were involved in Harvey and Rachel being kidnapped. But that's later on. So already, Harvey is looking for an excuse to blame Jim. Ridiculous. And Batman ends up taking him out. At number 12, we have Random Cop. This is when the random cop stops a truck and gets shot by the Joker. At number 11, we have Chen Chen. This is when the Joker burns his part of the money, and Chen Chen gets mad and sort of threatens the Joker. So the Joker gets Chen Chen's own men to turn against him. And then the Joker tells Chen Chen that it's not about the money. It's about sending a message. And then Chen Chen gets dragged away. At number 10, we have 6 criminals. So pay attention. Criminal number 1 turns his back to enter a code and then gets shot by an accomplice with a pistol. Criminal number 2 turns his back to the bank manager and gets shot by a shotgun. Criminal number 3 gets electrocuted by the safe. Criminal number 4 gets told by an accomplice that the bank manager is out of ammo and then gets shot but survives. Criminal number 5 opens the safe but then gets shot from behind in the head. I think criminal number 3 and criminal number 5 could be the same guy. Anyway, criminal number 4 gets hit by a bus. And then criminal number 6 gets shot by an Uzi. And the mistake that all these criminals make is that they all trusted the Joker. So the joke's on them. At number 9, we have Maroni. This is when Maroni's driver gets shot by Harvey Dent. I mean Two-Face. And I'm still not quite sure what happens in this situation because how is it that Two-Face and Maroni are in the same car? The only way this could actually be possible is if Two-Face paid Maroni's men to make this happen. And this is possible because earlier in the film, Bruce Wayne threw a fundraiser for Two-Face. So that's why he has all this money. But to get to the real point, the reason why Maroni is in this situation is because he's part of the reason why Rachel died, Two-Face's girlfriend. And obviously, the Joker was behind it. At number 8, we have Woman. This is when a woman looks up and gets blown up in a car. At number 7, we have Gamble. This is when Gamble tries to have the Joker killed, but it ends up backfiring. And him and his men end up being captured, and some of them get killed. The real mistake here is that Gamble completely underestimates the Joker. The Joker is more of a criminal than Gamble will ever be. If there was a criminal hierarchy, the Joker would be on level 10 and Gamble would be on level 2. The gap is massive, and Gamble never realizes this. At number 6, we have Harvey Dent. I don't think this one is completely Harvey Dent's fault, but we're gonna blame him anyway. So after Harvey Dent exposes himself as the Batman, the police are taking him down to the station. This is in the same sequence the Batmobile gets destroyed. So the Joker is chasing after Harvey Dent and the police, and he destroys a bunch of police vans and kills a bunch of people. This whole situation wouldn't have happened if Harvey Dent hadn't exposed himself as the Batman, because then the Joker would have had no reason to come after him. Now, I know eventually the Joker would have went after Harvey Dent, but at this point in time, this many people wouldn't have died, and that's all on Harvey Dent. At number 5, we have DA Officer. This is when the DA Officer is in the interrogation room with the Joker, and the Joker is getting under his skin, asking him questions like, how many of your friends have I killed? And do you want to know which ones were cowards? Eventually, the officer goes over to beat the Joker, but the Joker ends up manhandling him and escaping from the room, which leads to the Joker making a phone call to another phone, which is inside an inmate, rigged with a bomb. The whole place explodes and kills everyone, and the Joker escapes. Number 4. I have no idea whose fault this was, but it has to be on the list. So both Harvey and Rachel get captured, and only one of them is going to live. Obviously, the Joker is responsible for this, and you have people like Maroni involved, but then you have people like Ramirez, who's part of the police department, which is kind of messed up. The point is, Harvey should have been under 24-hour surveillance, and he wasn't. And look what happened. Now, you could blame Batman, or even Jim Gordon, who becomes commissioner, but at the end of the day, somebody should have realized that the Joker had a plan B, and nobody did. And they paid the price. Literally. Rachel dies, and Harvey Dent becomes Two-Face. Number 3. Batman. This is when Batman is interrogating the Joker, and the Joker makes some valid points, and I quote, "You let 5 people die, and you let Dent replace you." When you think about it, Batman let 5 people die. Now, I know Harvey does say he is Batman, which you're kind of thinking, what is he doing? But it makes sense later on. But getting back to this, Batman literally let 5 people die. If that's not one of the biggest mistakes in the film, I don't know what is. At number 2, we have Harvey Dent. This is when Harvey Dent holds a press conference and says he's the Batman, which is one of the biggest mistakes he could have made. Because now, he's not only Harvey Dent, but he's also the Batman. So he's target number 1. Now, this is a brilliant move in the short term because we know that the Joker ends up being captured with the police and help from the Batman. But in the long term, in the overall scheme of things, it's a complete mess. The Joker ends up escaping from prison, multiple people die, Rachel dies, Harvey becomes Two-Face, and even cops become corrupt. At number 1, we have Coleman Reese. This is when Coleman Reese is on national television, talking about the identity of the Batman on GCN, which captures the interest of the Joker. Because you see, the Joker doesn't want the identity of the Batman revealed, because that would ruin the fun for him. So he tells everyone, unless Coleman Reese is dead within 60 minutes, he blows up the nearest hospital, which is exactly what happens. Gotham General Hospital gets blown up. Ridiculous.